I'm so glad you're watching this video. Starting a business in your 20s means that you want to control your own financial destiny. You perhaps have a thought or an idea that you really believe could help other people on this planet. Maybe you're motivated to make more money, but either way, you're signing up for the journey of entrepreneurship. And in this video, I'm going to share with you everything I've learned about entrepreneurship and what you can do in your 20s to lead off with the best foot forward.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
You know, when having your own business, you really need to understand what's driving and what's motivating you. You hear this term thrown about, what's your why? And I want you to be thinking, why do you actually want to do this? And I'll tell you why this is important. Because entrepreneurship is 10 times harder than just punching in and punching out of a job every single day. It's way easier to go get a job for somebody else and just do what you're asked to do, collect your paycheck and be done. But the truth is, to the entrepreneur, they're going to bring great risk that if they fail, you get to lose everything, or lose a lot, or lose time, or lose money. But if you can hack it and if you can figure it out, then you really can own your own destiny. So when the moments get tough, what's going to keep you in the game? What's going to keep you motivated? You don't get the luxury of sitting on the side and basically throwing your hands in the air and saying, wah, wah, poor's me. Dude, no one's going to cry for you because you did it to yourself. You need an aim, an ambition, and a goal strong enough that says, hey, I'm going to stick with this, especially when it gets hard, so that when I find a circumstance that I don't think I can get over, I'm going to stick with it and I'm going to push through. If you've got that figured out, then you're ready for what you actually need. Entrepreneurship is on the rise in America like never before. It's projected in the next 10 years that 70% of all people will have a side gig. And we can ask ourselves, is that because you want some extra money? Listen, owning your own business is not the easiest way to make a little bit of extra money. In fact, getting a second job probably would be a lot easier. Here's what you really need to understand about entrepreneurship. It's hard. It's hard at first. It's difficult because dude, you don't know what you're doing and you think you know what people want and you're about to get served. You're about to find out that what you think is good. Listen, not all of us come out like a Mark Zuckerberg and all of a sudden we're super young, we have an idea and it turns into like a multi-billion-dollar idea. For most of us, we've got to earn our stripes with trial and failure and then trying again and then figure out what does work and what doesn't work. And, you know, failure is going to be your friend for a while. I don't say this to deter you. I don't want to make you feel bad. I want you to be ready for the fact that this is going to be hard work in the effort, and the payoff is totally worth it if you can stick with it. Number one, you've got to be ready to step in and do the hard work. Number two, you need to start with a smart margin. I want to tell you what I mean by that. Margin is how much money is left over a profit once you paid for all your expenses. So for example, some companies have a product with a 50% margin. That's great. I sell something for $2,000 and I get to keep $1,000. But a lot of people focus on businesses that have very low margins, which means they need to do a lot of business. They need a lot of volume. And often when businesses fail, it's because they couldn't do enough business. And so you got to ask yourself, do I really want to have to deliver services to hundreds and thousands of people or fewer? If the answer is fewer, then you got to focus on having a good margin. And a good margin is going to save your bacon and help you do this the right way. The third piece of advice that I would give you as far as launching a business successfully is that you've got to know how to pivot quickly. Your first ideas will usually not be your best ideas. You're going to try something, you're going to fail, but if you learn, then your second time should be better than the first. And I don't know how many times you're going to have to pivot, but in business it's often a lot, because what you're doing is you're trying to find the easiest way to produce the result. And so for me, one of the advice that I would give to you is that you got 30 days to try something and figure it out. Some people will stick with an idea for a year. It's a bad idea. You should stick with it only long enough to get enough of a sampling size to see if it could even give you a remote concept of what you thought was possible. If I try a 30-day idea and say, I'm going to make $3,000 and I can even make half of that, then my idea probably has merit. But if you thought something was possible and you were off by 90%, it's probably a really bad idea. So you want to give yourself an opportunity to pivot really quickly in the beginning to find out what's working and resonating and what's not. The next thing you want to understand in business is risk. Risk is opposite than what everyone's been telling you. Everyone's like, if you could risk failure, if you spend money and it doesn't work out, that's the risk. The real risk is actually trying nothing. And so you got to put yourself out there. You've got to take calculated risks. That means that you understand I'm going to play with something I can afford to lose, but if I get the upside, it's a lot bigger than the downside. That's actually what's referred to as asymmetrical risk. It means it has a super low downside, it has a really high upside. And that's part of what a calculated risk is making sure you're not betting the farm on your first idea, because what if your first idea is a bad idea or it's not that great of an idea? So on the one hand, you need to be willing to take risks so that you can aggregate data and learn lessons and figure out what does and what doesn't work. And on the other hand, you should make sure you don't take risks big enough before you have enough experience where you could risk losing everything or risk losing too much. And the last piece of advice that I would give for starting your business is I think it's important to balance your emotions. Emotions are a two-edged sword. They can work for your gain, like in the form of ambition or drive or passion, right? Like they can just drive you to want to go, 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 but they can also blind you. Literally, if something bad happens, you can turn it into something way worse than it actually is, and you can fall into victimhood, and you can feel sorry for yourself and feel bad for yourself. In the end, there's got to be some emotional regulation there to make sure that your emotions are in check, and they're adding to the positivity of the experience, but they're not actually creating drama or negativity, because a business in the beginning, it's usually a big learning game about yourself. This is what most people don't understand. I feel like entrepreneurship at the end of the day is like a great spiritual game, a journey into one's own self, because you get to learn about you. You get to learn how you do life. You get to learn about the choices you make in stressful situations. And it's not always going to be all pleasant. But what I would suggest is more important than anything is that if you're open to learning and growing when things aren't working out, you'll learn the real lessons that will spur you on to success. As in, the things that go well in business, there's not a lot of learning. It's the things that don't go well that you actually came here for. So you should expect them. You should anticipate them. You should know that you're supposed to look for what doesn't work so that you can analyze and understand, what is this trying to teach me about me? What is this? How is this reflecting on my decision-making or my leadership? How is this reflecting on how I show up in business? Use it as an opportunity to learn about yourself. Rock out those positive emotions and be really careful about those negative emotions. Thank you for watching today's video. I have to tell you that entrepreneurship started out as a deeply lonely journey for me. And I had an opportunity recently to go to an event filled with entrepreneurs. It had such a positive impact on me. I didn't feel alone. I felt like there were a lot of other people like me out there, and I felt supported. And I've been hanging out with these people now for a couple of years, and it spurred me on, honestly, to seek out far greater results, to do much better in business, and to feel a lot more encouragement. Frankly, it's been nice not feeling so alone. And that's what people find when they come to my events. It's a group of entrepreneurs, men and women, that are committed to leveling up their life, learning rapid lessons, getting mentorship, and going to the next level. If you click the link below, you can learn about one of my next events. And it's an invitation and opportunity for you to come and spend 4 days having truly what I guarantee will be a transformational experience. As in, I guarantee that it's going to be transformational. Our events are not the most expensive events on the planet. We make them very affordable because of all the people that I'm trying to help. And I will literally guarantee a person's money back if they don't have a life-changing experience. Do you know the number of refunds we've ever done on an event? 0. So if you are seriously committed about entrepreneurship or real estate investment or developing positive psychology of mind that will help aid you through the tough moments so you can come out on top, and if you want to accelerate your experience as an entrepreneur, then come out to the next Unleash Your Financial Destiny. That's the 4-day event that I put on that is designed to inspire you, motivate you, help you walk away with $1 million game plan and get the tools and resources that you need to absolutely crush it in the game of real estate, business, and life. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you on tomorrow's video.